Touchdown, my heart is beating. See the dust on my feet, feel the weight on my bones, hear my breath in my head. I am free for the first time. Touchdown, my eyes are believing. See my friends on the ground, hear the steps, hear the sounds, watch them fly to the hills. We are free for the first time. Let's start this odyssey. First steps in front of me. My eyes so wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future. On this odyssey. Touchdown, this place is bubbling. Watch them run, watch them fly, have a drink, start a fire, climb a ship, see the size for the first time. Touchdown, we are greeting. See the look in their eyes on my highway, surprise of a fight for their lives. Yeah, we are meeting. Let's start this odyssey. First steps in front of me. My eyes so wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future. Bullets fall like burning chaff. The celebration turns to violence. Laser fire makes shields go blue. Explosions fill my ringing ears. Humanity has come to stay. With all our faults, fears and anger. Joyous in this wondrous fall. Or let me slip away. Let's start this odyssey. Brave steps in front of me. My eyes so wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future.
We all know what it's like. You're busy managing your settlement when suddenly the alarms go off.
Oh no, not again.
That's right. A commander with a Federation naval rank of Admiral, an Imperial King no less, has landed in a ship worth over 100 million credits and is killing all your staff, while they look around for a 10 credit adhesive to glue an upgraded scope to their 100,000 credit assault rifle. They fly away with their super glue and you're left with a problem. How are you going to get your agricultural plant back up and running?
How am I going to get my plant up and running?
How are you going to find staff at short notice?
How am I going to find staff at short notice?
How are you going to deal with all those bodies?
There's bodies everywhere, and they've stained the carpet.
Wonder no longer. Call Aries Crime Scene Cleanup Services.
Hello, I'm Harry from Harry's Mine. After a sudden increase in robberies and murders by commanders since 3307, I've gained valuable expertise in cleaning up bodies, recruiting new staff and restocking stationary lockers. Now you can benefit from my experience by signing up to our Crime Scene Cleanup Service subscription plan.
That's right. For only a small monthly fee, when your settlement alarms are activated, our rapid response cleanup crew will be dispatched, along with our patented Cadaver Scoop 150. The Cadaver Scoop 150 can be mounted to surface reconnaissance vehicles and skimmers to make tidying up your settlement a breeze.
Wow, the bodies are gone.
Our recruitment team has potential new employees on standby across the galaxy, ready to fill your vacant roles in security, logistics, administration, processing, and more.
My plant's operational again. Thanks, Ares Crime Scenes Cleanup Services.
Ares Crime Scene Cleanup Services. We'll have your settlement as good as new before the next ship arrives. Cadaver Scoop 150 disposal bags sold separately.
We've been lucky for a long time. Earth's green again. Mars ain't red anymore. And your biggest worry has been carrier upkeep. But what happens if that changes? How are you going to keep your piece of the galaxy safe when the unknown comes at you fast? Manticore. We'll give you the power to fight back, no matter what comes your way, because family's important. And you, well, you're family now. Manticore, come join the family.
Hi, I'm Trent Stephen Findless Jr., and I'm here to tell all you pilots about a great new service. Take a listen to my friend, Pete.
My name's Pete, and I'm a long-distance haulier. I drive a Puma, shipping farm machinery from Leasty to Saweo. I love my family and I don't mind being a hard-working blue-collar dad, but I'm tired of seeing my family grow old in front of my eyes. Every time I make the run there and back, I lose 15 days in hyperspace. My family is starting to notice that they're getting older and I'm not. My wife had a baby last week. I did a week of shifts and now my kid's got teeth. I wish there was some way my family could get old at the same speed as me.
There is, Pete.
How?
By buying into my new service, Findlist Cryogenics. We aim to put the freeze on the premature aging of your family. The process is simple.
Our unique family centres allow you to drop off your loved ones on the way to work. Simply hire the number of cryogenic pods you need and keep your family asleep while you fly among the stars. We ensure synchronicity with your flight patterns so they spend the same time awake that you spend in the cockpit.
And when you get home, bingo! Your family is the same age as you. Never lose family time in hyperspace again. We guarantee that you'll never miss another birthday, anniversary, or funeral.
Wow, Trent, that sounds great. Where do I sign?
Simply put your credit card details into our special webpage under the hashtag WeFreezeYourLove. We'll take care of the amounts, no need to worry about that.
It's so simple. I can't wait to keep my family in a secure block of ice. It's a weight off my mind.
Findlist Cryogenics, now at your local spaceport.
Findlist Cryogenics, because the family that grows old together goes cold together.
famous for its vast rainforests and the Lavian tree growth. Much of the rainforest has now been cut down, and the famous shrub is now extinct.
There's bargains at Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium haven't just been slicing carcasses, but also slicing their prices. All unspecified meat sausages now 2 for the price of 1. A pack of assorted meat steaks, now with 50% more meat at half the price. How about chops? Our surprising meat chops now also 50% off. And introducing our massive meat hamper. It's a family of 4. No, that should say feeds a family of 4, right?
Stick to the script, Claire. It says it's a family of 4.
Okay, I'll stick to the script.
Yeah, you do that.
It's a family of 4. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. Find us in the Lave Business Directory or visit us next to the station mortuary. Etienne Dawn's Unspecified Meat Emporium. You'll wonder how our prices are so low.
Some ships don't feel the same. Some fights always go one way. Core Dynamics, bringing you strength, power, and performance. The chance to fight the good fight and to destroy the competition. From the Eagle to the Federal Corvette, we can offer you an advantage in every skirmish, every battle, and every single fight. Because we know how to win every time. For the Federation.
From the creators of luggage limpets and passenger lounge suitcase shuttles comes the latest revolution in passenger transportation. The passenger cannon. For centuries, circus performers have perfected the technique of being fired from a cannon. Paired with our new memory gel passenger pod impact absorption technology, you too can speed up disembarkation times from your liner by up to 250%. No longer be limited by pad sizes and excessive docking fees with the passenger cannon. But how does it all work? First, all passengers will be issued with a passenger pod inflation suit during transit. On approach to your passenger's destination, simply fill the inflation suit with our patented impact-absorbing memory gel. Then, once in a stable position in proximity to the destination, effortlessly slide them into the disembarkation chamber ready for launch. The passenger cannon is now available in both gimbaled and turreted varieties to make aiming elementary. Make your liner one of the top 1% in the galaxy. Buy a passenger cannon today. Warning: passenger cannon must not be operated on high-gravity planets or near geysers.
There's a light in the night, and it won't go out. Now I found you. There's a heat so close that I never feel cold. Now I found you. I was alone, out in the dark. Then I saw hollow squares all around. Oh, now the calms call my name every night. Now I found you in the depths, gazing brightly at the neutron star. We share the field, scooping jackoons, leaping to the edges of the night. Oh, I was alone, out in the dark. And I saw hollow squares all around. Oh, I was alone, out in the dark. Heaven was
Waiting for things to load. Waiting for things to load. Sitting in your chair, waiting for things to load. Waiting for the manifest to update. Playing old space games. Waiting for things to load. You just want to get out there and explore space. See the galaxy. Blaze your own trail. But you're in your chair, waiting for things to load. Wait no longer, Commander! Automated cargo drones will load cargo into your ship in no time. Automated cargo drones, available now in most starports.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
and the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous,
and the fantastic
community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the current Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 465 of Lave Radio, the show about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I am your host for now, Commander Psychic, also known as Claire Good. Hi, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our head of health and safety, Commander Ada Weiss, otherwise known as Ben Mossberg.
No, I do have to go higher. Have you washed your hands?
You're the weirdest person in the history of the world. We also have our SRV Banksy, Alec Turner.
Good evening. My nuts are stickier than Ben's.
That's disgusting.
Your nuts are also more solid. And they look quite brittle.
Christ. Amazing. What a wonderful start. At the moment, we have a Colin with some computer issues. So he'll be... What is it called? Hang on. We have Schrodinger's... No, we have Schrodinger's Colin at the moment. That's what we have. That was what I was going for. But we do also have our wonderful Tech, the Chris Mock 4, who I'm going to throw to, as well as a human being who I love and adore very much.
Hello, I am indeed a human being.
Who Claire loves and adores very much. Okay, cool. This is going to go great. I wasn't aware that this was happening until maybe 2 minutes ago. Okay, if you wish, you can join us live. We are hanging out in game. Where are you, Ben?
I believe Chris, and I are in Lave Station at the moment.
Okay, cool.
I have literally just landed.
Okay, cool. All right, so you can be in and around Lave Station in open as per usual. If you cannot get in game, you can also join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live, clicking on live chat, and also via twitch.tv/Lave Radio. And we've still got drops. So if you haven't got your drops yet, come over and hang out on the Twitch stream. How's everyone doing? Hi. Ben, how are you getting on? How are you doing? How have you been this week?
I'm realizing I'm an idiot and wondering why my navigation menus isn't working whilst I'm in ship transition. And that'll explain that. But yeah, I'm fine. I've had... So real life-wise, I've had a fairly busy week, but nobody gives a shit about that. Game-wise, I've played a smidgen of RimWorld, and I've been having fun with building up my survivors there.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a little bit of Star Citizen exploring the new solar system that they're giving us. Although they've only given us about they've given us a little bit the inner system, and my God, I have never seen anywhere that is both so glorious, so dirty, and leaves me thinking, leaves me feeling I'm glad I'm in a spacesuit, partly because of the smell, but mostly because I don't trust this place to hold together. But the attention to detail and the ways in, the ways out, the secret little nooks and crannies they've added in, they've dialed the detail up from their current space stations. It's just dialed up to 11.
Nice. I watched the Star Engine tech demo, and I know they do tech demos very well,
yeah.
and that's kind of part of the thing. But it was very nice.
It is
very nice.
It's I don't know how to say this. It's just like I'm walking around the space station there, and I'm feeling uneasy. And I'm not in any danger. The NPCs aren't good. Well, I don't think the NPCs are going to go and attack me or anything. It's just, what it's like when you're walking through a dark city at night and you're like, okay, is somebody going to mug me? Or something like that.
Yes.
I'm feeling like
You're
that.
Feeling the threat.
Whilst walking through a video game.
Threat.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That is pretty
good. I've played a whole bunch of my Dark Urge in Baldur's Gate. I've
Patch 4's fucked it a little bit though. There's quite a lot that's fluffed in Patch 4.
Okay.
Not
you
hugely.
Mean Dark Urge fluff or just in general fluff?
Just like general vague annoyances that I have found. There's things missing, bits and pieces that I would like to see actually, as without like going too heavily into it. There are a couple of scenes that are missing. Some of the stuff that they've added is amazing, but there's a couple of bits that just don't trigger anymore, and that's really frustrating. I find
that's annoying.
But yeah,
I'm having real. I don't know how to treat this Dark Urge as like because I'm not really seeing any. Like when I first started playing it, I saw a couple of things where I was like a little bit of italic, where it's like you have an uneasy feeling or something like that.
It depends how much you lean in. We talked about this last week.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any of those options to lean in.
Interesting. Maybe you've just not experienced. Maybe you're not experiencing the map as much. Maybe I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, I try. The other thing is, I'm just not deliberately leading into it because it's like, I'm not. For example, I could have
killed things.
Yeah, I could have gotten to a certain location and said, no, Smeg, you're dissing me and the stuff I'm doing. I'm going to kill you all now. And just killed everybody in the bar, for example. I could have done that.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I want. I don't want to
Well,
do that.
that's the thing. That's the thing. It's a role-playing game, Ben. It's a role-playing game.
but I also want to, you know, I want to sort of.
Anyway, Elite Dangerous podcast.
So on Sunday I hung out with Ascorbius though, and we had a lot of fun and shenanigans there. So it was lovely chatting with Scorb again.
Cracking. Alec, how have you been, my love?
Been good. I've just got Baldur's Gate 3 and I want to spend the next half an hour talking about it.
That's great.
That's a great idea.
Let's fucking go, man.
Actually, it's a lie. I haven't bought it at all. I'm still playing this old game called Elite. In real life, I've got nothing. I bought myself a sticky bun, and by the time it got to work, all the sticky was on the bag, and there was nothing left on the bun. That's the most
unfortunate moment
that happened all week.
That's easily the worst thing that's happened to anybody ever this week.
Actually, do you know? No, it's not. It's not. There's a very exciting thing that happened at the beginning of my week. I got a completely out of the blue, totally unexpected pay bonus.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
A really surprisingly substantial bonus. Now, it's really good because I work for a very small company, and I never quite know how the accounts are going, especially post-COVID when everyone's working at home, and so I have no idea how hard anyone else is working. But if they're working as hard as I'm not, then there's occasionally cause for concern. I hope they're not listening to this. I do work hard, but I'm sure people who work at home know that your hours have slipped slightly. Come on, be honest, they have, haven't they? Anyway, so it's really good to know that my company is doing well enough to pay us a bonus. That's the biggest plus for me. That's great news. However, I have a big chunk of money, so I am in the process of speccing up a new PC. It's entirely Colin's fault, and it's annoying that he's not on to answer to this. But him bragging about his bloody 4070 Ti and how ray tracing in Cyberpunk looks amazing and how Elite in VR looks amazing, sort of stuck in my head. So the minute this bonus turned up, I thought, right, know what I'm doing, getting myself a new PC.
Oh, so you're going for a whole build?
I am really okay. So my current PC, which I've had for 8 years, I used a company called PC Specialist. They were great. I thought they were fabulous. I don't know if they're particularly cheap but I thoroughly enjoyed the entire process. You know, you go on their website. They seem to have a pretty good selection of stuff. So you literally just, you pick your case, you pick your motherboard, you pick your GPU, your CPU, your cooling, you pick your RAM and all your bits, and the price goes up, and then you change your mind on some bits that are too expensive. And then when the price is about right, you kind of hit the proceed button. And then it's really good, and it tells you things like your power supply's too big, and if you want to save some money, they would recommend a smaller one, and they tell you that your RAM's not compatible with your CPU and all this stuff. So it seems pretty good. And at least the first time I did it, it was lovely. I bought it. I was regularly updated about how it was coming along. It turned up beautifully packaged, and it has worked absolutely flawlessly for the last 9 years. So I'm going to use them again.
Oh, nice.
So it's really good, and I'm really enjoying the whole process of. I've sort of opened it up to the forum because I'm sort of loving it. I'm not in a rush, so I sort of put together a build and then I threw it out to some folks on the forums who know what the hell they're doing, whereas I don't really. And then it's been going for over a week now, I think, of just suggestions and reading reviews, and then coming back and posting another build, and then people going, you don't want that RAM with that motherboard, and then posting another build, and people going, that's too hot, you need more cooling, and it's great. I'm loving it.
Yeah, for sure. That's
cool. It's fascinating because so the graphics card, the 4070 Ti, it's a really interesting, quite unusual compared to when I bought the 1080 with mine. Is that it feels a little bit like the price performance curve doesn't entirely flatten off. So although the 4080 GPU is another 300 quid, it's significant. It performs significantly better, and obviously the 4090 is better again. So I'm trying to stick with the 70 Ti because it feels comfortable for the price range I'm looking at. But there have been some quite creative builds that people have suggested. Saving almost enough on all the other bits to get to stretch to a 4080. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a 4070 Ti, and then the CPU is also fascinating. I'm learning so much about CPUs and L3 cache, and yeah,
Really?
it's really I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the process.
I feel like it's kind of making a building Coriolis or something and playing about with that.
Yeah, totally.
Comparison.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's totally that, except it's real money, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
real money, and you shit yourself over it because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and unlike Coriolis, you do start to have those doubts, because you suddenly go back. I go back to playing Elite on my 1080, and I'm thinking, this is all right, really. This is a complete waste of money. What am I doing?
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You don't need to spend that money. We can have a holiday or something. That all goes through your head.
Well, luckily
for me,
I can
anyway.
almost do both. So it's
incredible.
Yeah, it's really good. So it's been a good week. It's been a fun week. Oh, and I've been buckyballing, but we'll talk more about that
for sure
later. And I've also done my first Elite Dangerous adventure, which has been fab, and we'll talk more about that. And I think I better stop doing the accent. I'm just trying to get across how it's spelt, but I think I better stop it.
I was just
hello.
Hello, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Hello. Nicely timed.
How's your week been, mate?
Well, it was fine up until about 5-10 minutes ago. On the subject of I think what's happened is that my network card is too close to the 4070 Ti, and I think the 4070 Ti's melted it.
So take note, Alec.
So I'm actually having to use my laptop, which is worrying. I can see myself picking things apart till 1 o'clock in the morning. I have a new network card anyway, I was going to put it in last weekend, but I thought, no, can't be bothered. I've got too much on, and then yeah.
Crikey. Oh wow.
You don't want it? I'll buy your 4070 Ti off you.
Jesus Christ.
That's the one thing I am keeping, mate.
Crikey. I'm sorry that you're having problems, Colin. It's a real pain in the ass, but I at least you've got something that you can tinker with for the interim. A little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Crikey. Chris Montfort, how has your week been, my love?
Oh, it's been all right this week. Not as much work, thankfully. Not as many out of hoursy things. Had a nice little sort of weekend. Saturday, went into town, went to the cinema to see the new Nicolas Cage film, Dream Scenario, where Nicolas Cage's character keeps turning up in people's dreams and turns them into a sort of strange celebrity. And all that entails. So yeah, that was quite a fun film to sort of go out and see. Sunday was my usual radio nonsense from 12 until 2, and yeah, that's about it. That's kind of been my week. I did a little bit of Elite Dangerous. I did a little bit of flying around. I'm still doing some engineer unlocks and stuff.
Nice.
So that has been my week. After I did a bit of the CG. The week before, and I decided, right, now that I've gathered sort of materials from everyone that I've been blowing up, I can go off and do things to my shields and boosters and other stuff that I've nicked off of ships that I can now super glue to mine to make it better and zoomier.
Okay, nice. Awesome. Make things better with more stuff.
Make things better with stuff. Sticky tape and glue and whatever else the engineers use to keep our ships together. So
here's what I made earlier when they bring out a full model of Tracy Island. Is this where we are right now?
Exactly. It's all the rubbish that sort of floats in space. After I blow up a ship, I steal their bits and use it to make my ship even better.
And here's one they made earlier. Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
How about you, Claire? What have you been up to?
Well, mate. I did go out of the house once.
Woo!
I did go out of the house once. It was my wedding anniversary on Sunday. We've been married for 12 years. Have me and the Chris Mark 5. We've been married for 12 years. And we had a nice day. where we stayed inside and played computer games for most of the day, as we want to do. We did do our Sunday morning walk in the morning, and it was a really nice day. It was a lovely day. I've got no complaints. It was fun. What else have I done? Not a huge amount. I thought I was right at the end of Cyberpunk. I genuinely believed, as I was going into Cyberpunk today, that I only had the final mission to do. I didn't think I had anything else. But lo and behold, I opened my map and there are missions, like side quests and missions, absolutely everywhere as far as the eye can see. I reckon I've probably got another 20 hours worth of gameplay in this game before I even go to the final thing. So yeah, Cyberpunk is definitely worth the money if anyone is on the fence about it. But with the 2.0 update, it's been absolutely friggin' amazing. I did a fair amount of buckyballing.
Yes.
It was a fun race. It was good times. I got a little bit incensed on some Galnet news articles that came out. But we will definitely touch on that in a little moment. But I think that's been about it. It's been a nice, quiet week. I listened to my friend Chris on the radio on Sunday. And it was a very good show. I highly recommend listening to Black Diamond FM on at 12 o'clock on a Sunday for a couple of hours, because it is a good laugh. And if you're not doing anything, go and do it.
Yeah, I think it counts towards your community service.
There's no phone in, so you can't
phone in. He literally does a phone in, and you can message him at any point to ask for a song, and he's pretty good at getting them on there.
I try my best. You can call in. Your call will not go on air, but you can call and have a chat.
Exactly.
If I'm in the studio, you can call and have a chat. Yeah, I'll blather away to people.
I'm going to message you. It's that time of the week again. And see what
You got to watch. I've got the button right in front of me, Colin. You say that, and I'll hit the button.
Amazing. Colin, I can see you typing away about the development needs. What, pray tell, have the devs said this week, mate?
Well, they haven't said a thing, actually, because we know that Sally has moved on to Pastures New. However, what did come out was Frontier's full result for 2023. And I must admit, when you actually read through this, it's actually quite grim reading.
It's quite what? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Grim. Okay.
Grim. Yes. We thought that Odyssey had cost Frontier a lot. That's absolutely nothing compared to the other couple of things that have happened this year. Foundry Studio had to write off 13 million. Yeah. And then on top of that, F1 Manager quite badly for a whole 15 million. So that's quite a lot.
Wow.
Just to clarify, that was Foundry. They writ off 13 mil, and then F1 Manager was 15 mil.
Yep. 28 million in total had to write off this year. Good news is, though, they'd still managed to pull in 104 million, which was actually a reasonable haul. The write-off has meant that they've had to post a £26 million loss this year, which does explain why they're now saying, right, we're streamlining.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as some, though, is it? I mean, I know I'm playing a little bit devil's advocate here, but it's not as bad as some other numbers that I've seen dotted about for, I suppose, bigger.
Oh yeah,
people that have.
You just have to look at Epic and
yeah,
all the others.
Yeah,
But,
I know it's only a typo, but it did make me laugh. The fact that I was thinking it doesn't sound so bad, because in the show notes it says they had a £26 loss. I was thinking that sounds right.
That's right.
That's
26
A round of drinks.
We'll have a whip round.
You lot wouldn't let me finish the notes. I'm halfway through typing it. Even as... Anyway, on a more positive note, they are still very cat rich. I almost said cat rich then, but yeah. There is the Age of Sigmar coming out next week, I believe. It's the 17th of November.
Yeah,
That's looking quite good, actually. And then when you actually go through the report, when you read the whole summary of Elite Dangerous, it's actually a lot more positive than I think you get from other outlets. They are saying that they are going to continue to commit to Elite, so and support the game. So that does feel quite encouraging. There was this little interesting accounting issue. Every time they do an update, whether it's Horizons or whether or not it's Odyssey, they say they have to write off £227,000 due to the LEP owners.
Wow.
Just to clarify, for those of us who might not know what LEP means, well, I know what LEP means, but for those people who don't, we're looking at lifetime expansion pass holders.
That's
Accurate?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. If you paid more than 80 quid on the Kickstarter, or bought when Horizons came out, you're a LEP. And
So the LEP was available in 2 instances, wasn't it?
Yep.
So like at Kickstarter and then at Horizons as well.
Yeah, Kickstarter is quite nice because it gives you the numbers. There's about just over 5,000 people who have got the LEP valid from the Kickstarter.
Right.
And there's obviously been a couple of thousand more. There's yeah.
Surely they can only really write off LEP owners twice, once against Horizons and once against Odyssey, though. I mean, those are the only 2 paid expansions, right?
Yeah, that's what they've done.
Yeah, okay.
There's part and parcel of it, though, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah,
Colin, actually, I wanted to ask you on that because I can't remember where I heard this, and it may have been rumor, but did it say in the report that they weren't going to do that anymore?
No, it didn't say anywhere in the report that they weren't going to do it. They didn't say anywhere in the report that they were going to do it.
Okay,
I think
I saw somewhere else that they were maybe reading too much into that. That if they were saying, you know, they weren't going to honor lifetime expansion pass owners anymore, it was, I can't remember the interpretation, but it was like, you know, it sort of implied they weren't going to release any new content. But it sounds like that's over interpretation of what it actually
Yeah,
said.
and when I read through the report, I didn't get that impression. They quite underlined that the Elite was one of the pillars, if you like, is one of their strengths, and they're wanting to play to their strengths going forward.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have more positive note.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure. It's one of those things where it's just rife, isn't it, in the tech industry at the moment, you know? Not just the games industry. It's just an unfortunate side effect of a lot of different fuck ups in the UK. You know?
Technical term.
I was trying to be as diplomatic as possible, but it's an unfortunate term of the economic climate that we live in at the moment, and you know, fuck ups. So fingers crossed we have some good news on the back end of stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's move on to the community news before I stick my foot in my mouth any further and break a hip. What is the community up to? Oh, we had someone reach out to us, didn't we, Ben?
We did. So the Gates to Eden expedition reached out to us with a minor wall of text about the shenanigans that they've been up to. So they're saying... and I'm paraphrasing this a wee bit because it was a wall of text. But at the Elite Deep Space Exploration Network, their mission is to discover the extraordinary and unearth potential points of interest. During the Gates to Eden expedition, G2E, they hope to find breathtaking landscapes, encounter super systems, do a little in-game science, and simply enjoy a wholesome experience with like-minded explorers from around the world in this beautiful oasis that we call home. And I'm going to move this onto my bigger screen so I can actually read more. The Gates to Eden expedition is off to a great start. They're just 10 days in, and the participants have made over 4,500 jumps. They've traveled over 300,000 light years. They've scanned almost 25,000 celestial bodies. They've expended over 21,000 tons of fuel, fired almost 3,000 probes, and nobody's yet died or self-destructed. I think
Amazing.
I think that's a win, isn't it?
That gets a round of applause. Chris Mott 4, do you have a button that we can just click to do a round of applause? Because if not, get one for next week.
I'll do this, though. I'll do this. There we go.
Well done, everyone.
I go way out.
Who needs a soundboard?
Who needs it?
We have live Foley. On top of the stuff that they've been up to, they're having community events, and they've had one so far at some Guardian ruins in the Arseid Nebula.
Sure.
Yeah, would you say that's Arseid?
I am doing something else right now, but by all means.
Let's say Arseid.
Arseid system, yes!
And they had lots of shenanigans and fun there with lots of SRV tricks, stunts, and ship-launched fighters shenanigans too. They're keeping track of some internal contests, they're saying. They're keeping track of the smallest, I'm assuming, planetary body.
Which of the members has the smallest body?
Yeah, they might just be looking to see if they've got any gnomes in their party. I don't know.
Have a weekly weigh-in.
Yeah, possible.
Gosh.
How much weight have you lost over the expedition? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, it gets better. It gets better.
It does, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, guys, by the way.
I'm already regretting everything about this.
They're scanning for the most exobiology signals on a planetary body.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. They are keeping track of the widest ring.
There it is. Okay.
They're also keeping track of the fastest orbit, the higher stellar body count, and I'm assuming what mountain has the highest peak.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Their current records have been made by Commander Akes at Hyper, maybe EL1 D10-16C1, which is found I'm assuming that would be a small body with a radius of 309 kilometers.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Circumnavigate that in
Alec,
a day.
off you go, mate. Go.
Yeah. Around it twice.
Yep. And they've also found a lovely, as they describe, coal nugget called Lysod MNU B44-4A1, which has got a rotational orbit of 3.5 hours. Which, that's pretty nippy as well, I guess.
It is pretty nippy. You might get a bit dizzy on that.
It's no Mitterrand, but
it's not Meter in Holland, but then again, Meter in Holland shouldn't be, even though it is awesome.
I mean, I struggle with awesome today.
Yeah. One of the things they
struggle with awesome after last week.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to this from talking to them, even though they've set off, they're still open to lots more people joining them. This is running all year long, and they've got 100 jump points as they do a circumnavigation of the galaxy.
They saw the Thargoids and went absolutely the fuck not then, didn't they? And just turned around.
Nope.
They're quite a way out, aren't they? They've done, 4,500 jumps already, so I guess you've got to go some if you want to catch them up.
Yeah. Well, no, that's 4,500 jumps in total. So amongst all commanders, they've done 4,500. So yeah,
I was going to say.
Not I have made 4,500. It's just
halfway to Andromeda at that rate.
Through all the commanders, they've made that.
Incredible.
But yeah, they're up to awesome stuff.
It's
For
nice to hear
sure.
about expeditions. We don't feature enough expeditions, and I'm sure they're still happening.
I try and look for them every week, and then I forget because I'm the worst. But I do open up EDSM. Go check it out. They've got stuff.
Yeah, and these guys are also, funnily enough, on EDSM, and the links to all of that will be in the show notes.
Perfect. Okay, so next we have Scorb's practical demo on how to lip sync and animate.
Yeah, I put this in. I think we might even have mentioned it last week. We certainly mentioned that Scorbs had a new machinima out, which I watched and was fab. And then just this morning, I finally got round to watching this practical demo of how to lip sync and animate using lots of fancy digital animation video making tools that I'd never heard of. I'm sure other people had. It's fucking amazing, actually. That's the only way I can describe it. I had no conception of how much work goes into those sort of little 5-minute videos that he makes. It's incredible, and it's really worth a watch. I mean, I love stuff like this. I always like it when Frontier on their live streams sort of show a little bit of behind the scenes, and it gives you a whole new appreciation for stuff you take for granted, and so much with this. Just seeing him like position the Ascorbius sort of the Scorbs sort of character and position him in a chair, and then make sure that his feet are on the footrests and his knees are at the right angle, and then pin things that he doesn't want to move, and then start lip syncing and moving the head and moving the eyebrows, and it's like, oh wow, it's incredible. Really worth a watch. Really good.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. I wish I had like a thimble of the talent to do something like that.
Yeah.
Do like it's very cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to begin, and it's like, wow.
Seems like the kind of thing I would lose hours obsessing over trying to get right and trying to play around with.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like I just think about like whenever we do our little dumb sound things, and the amount of like minutiae and moving, like you moving stuff like a microsecond, or like even when I'm editing, it's like I take out frames and stuff like that, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I feel bad because like when I make a video, I can't even be bothered to film in third person. It's just like, if I'm being really fancy, I might turn the HUD off, and then I look at this and think, yeah, okay, I'm a lazy bastard.
He does such incredible stuff. If you like, again, as always, there are going to be links in the show notes to everything. So go and check out Scorbs and stuff because he's brilliant. This is another.
This is me. Do you remember Clebby Harris?
Yeah, I do. I've seen this. Yeah.
We featured his time lapse, and he came. I think he came in our chat or Bur's chat, somebody's chat, and said, "Shall I do another one?" And he's done another one. So it's 137 hours of Elite Dangerous video sped up into a, I don't know, 3-minute video.
Amazing.
Right. It's great.
It's really good.
Have you got any? I've got a few favourites. There's one of a the Coriolis with the noob hammers.
Yeah.
Just kind of side on, just whizzing around like a spinning top. It's amazing. And there's another one of like a planet surface with a big fat red kind of parent star. One of the sort of really cool red ones. That's got a really odd orbit, so it looks like it's going to set, and then it kind of wobbles and comes back up again. And
that's very cool.
Yeah, and it must be difficult. I mean, there's a few where not much happens, and I like that he's included everything that most of the footage he's taken, because I guess it sort of made me think you don't really know what you're going to get. You set the camera up, but you might have a hunch that what's going to happen, but do you know what I mean? You don't really know how the stars are going to move, or whether the things are going to move in an interesting way or not, unless you've spent an awful lot of time in a system scoping it out and studying it.
Like space is the tits, though. So, I mean,
space is the tits.
You'd be a little unfortunate if you didn't find something that looked fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah,
should have filmed the buckyball race, and he could have had all these ships just constantly crashing into Midrand Hollow. And
oh, good lord.
Just all these.
I should do that for the next buckyball race. I should get him to go and point his camera at the start line for it and get a week's worth of buckyball racing into a time lapse.
That would be.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. We also have an exploration montage. Is that another one of yours, Alec?
Yeah, I threw it in. It's just somebody I'd never heard of. I was going to say I picked this up from one of his comments. Actually, I was going to say underrated, but actually it's got decent viewing figures. But it's I almost want to say Cone Man 02, but it's not quite. It's like Coenaman 02, I guess. And he's made a bunch of these Odyssey exploration montage videos now. And they're great. They're really nice. Great music, nice, really good cinematography. Yeah, go check it out.
It's got one there that's like a really cool looking space cactus, like a red space cactus, and he slowly panned around it. And I don't think I've got the stability to do a pan like that in the in-game camera suite. So yeah, it looks really cool.
Oh, okay. Van Otter in chat is saying he's watched him since Distant Worlds 2. So okay.
Oh, amazing.
Never heard of him before, but there's some great videos.
Awesome. Alec.
Yes. Shall I do
it? Tell me about your Elite Dangerous adventures.
I will. So I mentioned this on last week's show. I talked about this French community that has put together this fantastic set of playable adventures, which are like seriously beefed up. It's like a seriously beefed up mission board. You know, it's proper missions with story and dialogue and it. So I've given it a go. It's just this morning after the buckyball race, I finally got a chance to give it a go. So I completed one short adventure and have embarked on a second, much bigger one, which has taken me all the way out to the Guardian ruins. They are bloody brilliant, beautifully presented on the website. Funny enough, my wife commented when she was looking over my shoulder this morning how nice the website looks. It is really, really smart. And it's really clever. So you log in and you do the thing where you authenticate with the Frontier API. So you sort of hit the login button and then you get the familiar Frontier orange authenticate page. And then you hit, like you do if you're authenticating for Twitch drops or stuff like that. And then you go back to the website, and at that point, it can tell things about what you've done. So you typically think you'll get an introductory paragraph and some nice screenshots maybe and things that set the scene of what your mission is, and you'll have an initial objective. So the first quick mission I did, I won't spoil it, but I had to go somewhere and try and sort of track down a missing person. And as you get to certain stages, there's like a sort of continue button that takes you to the next part of the story. And sometimes, and the continue button won't work if you're in the wrong place, if you're not in the right place, or if you haven't done certain things. So you can't just click through and complete it without actually doing it. So you have to go into, you have to read the backstory, go to the game, fly to the place. And it was really cool. I mean, this one, the first mission involved tracking down a sort of like a missing person who basically ends up being an NPC on a staircase. And the reason I mention that little bit of detail is because in that instance, you complete the mission by saluting at that character. So that's kind of I was quite surprised. That's the level of sort of stuff that it can detect that you've done. So you imagine that the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
They have loads of adventures there, and it's not just things like that. There's amazing stuff like the adventure I'm doing now, which has taken me off to the Guardian sites, and it also went via a mega ship. I'll come back to that in a second. Has like a I'm trying to decide if it's too much to say. It's not too much. There's an inventory button which is initially empty. When you click it, nothing happens. And then as you do certain things within that mission, you get to a point where it opens up and there are maps in your inventory that they've created that are beautiful, really beautiful top-down plans of Guardian sites and things. which you then use to go through to the next part of the adventure. So they've done voice acting. There are like logs in the game which don't have voice acting, and they voice acted them, and they're done brilliantly. I mean, the level of quality on this stuff is really surprising. I mean, it's I don't mean that in a rude way, but it's fantastic.
That sounds super
and I
cool.
and I love talking about the mega ship. I love it because something that's been on my mind recently is I think we touched on it last week when we were talking about our sort of scariest moments, and Claire
Yeah.
mentioned some logs that I'd forgotten about, and I keep thinking, I should go back and look at this stuff. There's so much stuff in Elite Dangerous. There's so much content that we've seen and done over the years that I keep thinking it would be nice to revisit it. But just sort of doing it aimlessly, I don't know. It's all right. I could go back and look at the inner logs and something, but having a purpose has transformed that. So I can see myself doing all of these adventures, and there are loads, because it just gives you, if you've never seen these places, it's great. But if you have seen these places, like Guardian sites, to go back to them with a real sense of purpose is, I find that transformative, actually. And it's really nice that you also get like points. So there are all sorts of difficulty ratings. I should say there's all sorts of puzzles, and some of the puzzles are out of game. There's all sorts of stuff hidden in the website's code breaking and things as well to make it more interesting. But yeah, so you get points for each of the missions, and who doesn't love clocking up some achievements and points as well? So there's a lot of that.
Oh
as well.
yeah, all over that. That sounds really
It's
cool.
great. It's bloody brilliant. A lot of it is in French, and they are working to translate more and more stuff into English. Funnily enough, I was commenting today that the second mission that I've picked, the logs haven't been translated into English, but I kind of liked it because it made me think. If you were flying around the galaxy for real and going off and doing missions, well, why shouldn't some of the places that you arrive at have logs that are in a language that's foreign to you? I sort of liked it. I found it, added character that it was in a different language, and I could still read the translation. And I don't know. I'm not saying don't translate it to English, but I didn't mind it. It's not stopping me from doing the missions that they haven't translated. Yeah, really good stuff. Really good.
Sounds like a huge amount of effort that must have went into creating these. If
Yeah.
there's more than a handful of missions, that sounds pretty
There is.
incredible
There's
effort
loads.
that's went into
I
that.
haven't counted, but there's loads and loads, and the artwork's beautiful, and there's videos with some of them. There's even a bit of I keep thinking of things that I'd sort of had to do a double take at. There's a bit of voice acting that's got the sort of stuff I was just talking about with Ascorbius, like lip synced kind of animation of a NPC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Really neat. I'll need to check it out at some point. Though I'm so bad at doing the stuff that's actually in game, and now I'm going to add an out of game experience to the list.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, those engineers are never getting unlocked.
They're never ever getting unlocked. Oh no! Your engineers are just like looking at your name on the list and just moving you further down the queue. Yeah. Chris ain't coming here. It's not happening. Cool. Excellent. Buckyball.
Blimey, me again.
Blimey. I can talk about Buckyball.
How was your Buckyball? Did you do a day of it?
I did. I like half a day of it. I did. I squeezed some buckyballing in on Friday. Because it was like a 20-minute, so it was nice. It started and finished in the same spot, so you didn't need to worry about it, and there was no complications whatsoever. There weren't any complications, any like added complications or added bonuses. It was the pain in the arse and the whole thing was landing on Mitterrand Hollow. That was the problem. I was really, really happy with getting a sub 20-minute time in what I managed to do. How was your experience?
It was it was great. I really loved it. Yeah, Midrand Hollow was really interesting. As that we were discussing this even today in the Discord. So, one of the things in Midrand Hollow is okay. So I'm sure everyone knows this by now, but you can't catch it up. So it's
Mhm.
zipping around its parent moon of New Africa, and if you slot in behind it and try and get into its orbital cruise, you can't catch it up. It'll slowly pull away from you. So you've basically got to go around the other way and hit it head on. So there's a really neat thing, neat as in fun when you're trying to race, and an extra little mechanic, that as you're sort of coming in super cruise and you're doing all your sort of corkscrew approaches or whatever to try and do it quickly, you've also got to keep a really tight eye on Midrand Hollow and try and decide which way it's going. Because of course there's no up in space, so you don't ever know whether you're coming in above it or below it, which way up it is. So you've got to watch it really closely to decide which way around it's going. And that's really funny because sometimes you make a sort of snap decision and then you commit to your approach to intersect its orbit and then suddenly realize, oh shit, it's going the other way. And you have to sort of U-turn and quickly try and head it off the other side of. So that's really fun. And then the problem is that when you, having done that and you're now coming in to hit it head on, it's really easy to hit that too fast for orbital cruise message. And really, when you're racing, that's game over because you've then got like a cooldown that I don't know,
Yeah.
a minute, but feels like 5, as they said on Loose Screws. Yeah. So although, like you said, it's a really quick race, I think I've probably had a higher proportion of failed runs than any other race just because of that bloody too fast for orbital cruise and getting it just right. It's good. Shall I read the results?
Oh, by all means, please.
Let's do it then. So in regulation class, which is our stock Cobra, so to give you a feel, typical times around about the 19-minute mark, I guess, around about the middle of the table. So in third place, yours truly. Yes!
Hey!
Bloody delight. I had a great week actually. It's one of those races. Okay, so the other thing I didn't mention about this race is that because you're landing and taking off from planetary bodies, there's quite a lot of obscure jump issues. So in regulation Cobra, you can typically get between each system in 2 jumps. So if you have an obscured jump, that's not so bad because typically you can offset your middle jump. You can plot it manually so that your middle jump is to somewhere just above the horizon, and then your next jump is to where you're going, if you see what I mean. So as cunning route plotting, you can keep regulation down to 2 jumps. But for unlimited, it's a bit of a killer because in like a decent ship, you can do all of these in 1 jump, and if the planet's in the way, you ain't going to do it in 1 jump. And that's annoying because if there are moments in the week when people can get a run in with no obscured jumps or only 1, your chance of beating those runs when there is an obscured jump is almost like you almost feel like not bothering. It's like, oh god, there's no point, is there? So hats off to the people that persisted because I had a bit of that where I had a few days where I thought there's no point racing today, which is not the attitude at all, Alec. But I had a great sort of midweek with Kevin the Stabber, who's here in chat, where we were just sort of leapfrogging each other, and I'd sort of reached a point where I thought that's good enough. That's, and then Kevin sort of beat me, and I thought, do you know what? I'm coming back to do a bit more, and it was great. And so I managed to hold on to third. Really chuffed with that. In 17 minutes, that was.
Yeah.
And then in second place, we had Brusky, who did it in 16:52, which is slightly annoying because he's only 12 seconds faster. So if I'd pulled my finger out, don't know, maybe.
Who knows? Who knows indeed.
In first place, we have Skur, who
with
did
an
it
impossible time.
16 minutes.
It's not possible. It's not possible to do that. It is inhuman. He cheated.
I mean, it's a minute faster than my time. It's a short race. I don't see where
I can't see.
I look at my run and I think maybe I could shave 2 seconds here and 3 seconds there, and in total that adds to 12, and he's a minute faster.
I was looking at my run. I had 3 hours to give it a good go, and I feel like I did a relatively good go. I came in 14th, and I'm perfectly happy with that. That is not a problem at all. After like doing a couple of runs, I was like, I could probably get it down to maybe 18 minutes if I'd spent a good sort of like 4 days just like solidly. I could maybe get it down to 18. But
it is diminishing returns. There's lots of little components, and it's just kind of getting them all perfect. So again, there was an interesting discussion in the Discord today. So one of the things you do is when you jump into a new system, no matter where you're headed, the first thing you want to do is turn your back to the star and get the hell away from that star as fast as possible, and get your speed up, because that star is just dragging you down. So there's no point pointing in the direction you want to go. Get away from the soup, get away from the soup first, and then turn towards. Now, what's interesting is I've always flown in like a fairly graceful arc. So I turn my back to the star and I get away, and then I slowly arc back around to where I'm going. The reason for that being I'm also trying to avoid planets and asteroids that are in the way that are going to have a similar effect. So I'm trying to do this sort of curve around everything. And it turns out, and there were some careful timings on this, but if you basically start off like that and then get to the point where you're clear of everything, at that point, rather than continuing this arc, just point where you're going, and that saves you about 9 seconds. Well, no, that's an exaggeration, but 7 seconds. So we've got four of these, the 3 systems you're going to in the finish line. So that's 4 lots of. That's 25 seconds right there, just doing that instead of the stupid arc that I've spent the last 8 years perfecting.
I'm glad I didn't need to perfect that. So my wobble of where I'm going is absolutely fine then. I don't need the graceful arc.
No, you don't need the wobble of where you're going is probably easily as good.
What wobble of where I'm going and the loop of I meant to miss that.
And
the loop of that was on purpose.
Class, it's still unlimited. So mid-range unlimited times are about 16 minutes. So in third place we had Dar Plater 94, which is nice to see Dar Plater up in the podium in an Imperial courier called Proof of Concept with 14 minutes and 10, which is bloody good time actually. And then Skur again in second place in a Sidewinder. I mentioned the bold Sidewinder last week, called Grow Up to Be a Viper, who did it in 13 minutes, so a minute faster than Dar Plater. And in first place, Can Chat Guess Who? It was, of course, Shay Blackwood in the Viper Mark III Blackbird, who did it in 13 minutes. Good God, am I reading that right?
13 minutes and 5 seconds.
3 seconds faster than Skur.
You couldn't get it
Jolly
down
close.
to 13 minutes on the nose.
Yeah, for shame. Shame, Shay.
Shay and Skur were going back and forth all week. Actually, it was a really good battle going on there as well. So yeah, it was a really close fought one. This.
That's really
good
cool.
racing.
That is really, really cool. I love that. I love that. I love how close it was. That's really intriguing. It was one of those ones where it was a good race. Like they weren't extra, and I'm not a super huge fan of all of the frills and the bells and whistles. I get it.
I know what you mean.
I get it for sort of the long in the tooth buckyballer who's like, I want to exploit all different angles and do all of that nonsense. I just really like it, nice and simple.
This was pure,
And
wasn't
proper
it?
vanilla racing. Yeah, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and I kind of lamented the fact that I'd left it until Friday to do it, because then I had another thing that I needed to do on the Friday, and I was like, oh no, I want to do things, and then the weekend got busy, so I couldn't log on. But I think it would have been nice to devote a little bit more time to that. But yeah, it was really good. When's the next one, Alec? Do we know yet?
Got one more.
Oh, cool. Crikey.
Where are we? End of this month, I guess. I don't have a week for it yet, I don't think. But yeah, end of this month.
Do we know who's hosting it?
I think I want to say Osric. Is it Osric? Talk amongst yourself for 1 second and I will find it.
I genuinely did put you on the spot there. My apologies. If you do have a community event that is taking place and you want to let us know about it, like the Gates to Eden expedition got in touch with us this week, do let us know. Like, tweet the crew, come and talk to us in our Discord, or tweet us at Lave Radio, or email info@laveradio.com. Or, just come in our Discord and yell at one of us until we fob it off on Ben, so that Ben has to deal with all of it.
Final race
I
of
noticed
season.
that.
Final race of the Swift 16 Championship is Close Encounters, hosted by Osric sometime in November.
Incredible. I look forward to it very much. Hey, shall we have some adverts?
Yes, please.
Oi, how you doing, my brother? So you run some data and you left your little sidey and you're starting to think about maybe a ship that can punch a little bit harder. Well, the Killback, the one with the little flappy wings, is just what the doctor ordered. It is multi-crew enabled and is the smallest ship with a fighter bay, so you can point and they will do your bidding. Ha! It's got 3 utility mounts, 2 small and 2 medium hard points, plus a whole batch of compartments. So if you want a bit of fun, grab a Killback, my son.
Listen here, ladies. While your man is out and about bringing home the bacon, you need to make sure you look your best, which is why we present to you our Lady Shave. It's small enough to fit into your dainty lady hands and releases a perfumed scent as you cut away that ghastly body hair.
Listen here, ladies. Say no to substandard shaving. At Saracen, we believe a woman deserves a shave as good as a man's. Introducing the Panther Clipper. For women. Gone are the days of your unruly body hair making you look like a bedraggled alpaca. The Panther Clipper is the biggest, baddest shaver credits can buy. And now, it's available in pink. A shave so smooth you'll need a tighter Dominator suit. The new Panther Clipper Lady Shave from Saracen. It's exactly what you've been asking for. In pink.
New from Azimuth Biotech, it's Tickle Me Thargoid. Tickle Me Thargoid is fun for all the family. Teach your little anti-Xeno commander the difference between an Orthrus and a Cyclops, a Basilisk and a Medusa.
Count the hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Cyclops.
Teach them their weakness and how to exploit them.
Now rip out the hearts, one by one.
I don't want to.
Do it. Using the tool. Do it. Now stomp on its face. Smash its face in.
I've got them.
Tickle Me Thargoid. Available now from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers.
Dreams. Humanity's dreams. The hope to live among the stars. From early times, we've gazed up to the heavens and wondered if one day we could travel there. Maybe even live there. The Brewer Corporation has made this dream a reality. Constructing intricate cathedrals of metal, circling numerous planets across thousands of systems in our human bubble. Why stay rooted in a gravity well when you can be free in orbit, free to dream, free to live, and one day to become the commander and be free to blaze your own trail. Brewer Corporation, the first step into the unknown. Come join us be free.
And we're back. So let's take a look and see what's happened in Elite this week. Well, on the 1st of November, how is it November already? Where did the year go? We had the results of the arguably tacked on CG for the Halloween event. For the Grey Swan fleet were all destroyed in Shamash. Cool. I don't think anything else came out of that. Did anything else come out of that? I don't know. But they did also mention the comparisons between the Shamash stuff and the similarities to the fate of the generation ship Thetis, which is the Madison Ghosts audio. So the thing that everybody else was really, really excited about when it actually happened. Cool. That happened on the 1st of November. Anybody else feel free to jump in if I miss stuff, because the next one got me really angry. Which was that it came out on the 3rd of November, right while I was buckyballing, saying that the Thargoid abductees are reconnecting with society. So the people who have been rescued from Thargoid Titans remain in quarantine, but can soon expect family visits and access to comms networks. But Azimuth had something that they wanted to say about it.
Of course they did.
Of course they did. Of course they did. Azimuth have decided that it is in the world, nay, the galaxy's best interest, if they are the ones who take exclusive control of the people who have been recovered from the Titans. To which everyone said, "Are you fucking out of your mind?" Your track record seems to denote that that is not a thing that can happen. You absolute fucks. I clearly have no strong feelings about this, but that was what they suggested, which potentially could be a precursor for maybe an Aegis versus Azibio CG next week.
Who should take charge of the abductees?
Well, or them going, "We want abductees," and Azibio going, "No, we want abductees." Do you know what I mean?
So
there might be something like that.
It's like who do you want to send them to?
No, I've got like 130 on my fleet carrier at the moment, so they're going straight to Aegis. But
Are you feeding them?
No, they're fed by their own amniotic fluids.
Lovely. Have you got any sense of where this is going?
Oh, it better not be zombies, mate. That's all I'm saying. It better not be zombies. I thought that this was going to be a zombies thing, because everyone was saying when I was like racing around doing buckyballing, they were like, "Claire, you're not going to like this." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh shit, it's precursor in zombies, isn't it?" But no, the thing that I didn't like was obviously the paragraphs from Azimuth Biotech, who have decided that they are the only people who can lead us to victory, because that went so well in recent history.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of feel like it. I mean, it could still lead to something. An actual in-game asset thing where we end up fighting zombies and things. But it feels slightly like it's more leaning into the sort of socio-political thing as an angle for Galnets and CGs. To do with discriminate, because sometimes Frontier with their Galnets, they kind of like to mirror real life news a little bit and touch on issues in a very sort of sideways way. But I just wonder if there actually this whole speculation about the people inside the pods not being normal people is just going to be used as sort of background for like civil war and stuff. Fighting
some sort of like prejudice and things along those lines, rooted in real human emotion rather than zombie stuff. Is quite that's quite an astute observation to make, Alec. I like that.
Well, sort of lock them up, let them be free kind of fight.
Yeah. I'm still not convinced that actually it's going to lead to anything actually tangible in terms of
It's a new limpet.
green face hugger people wandering around settlements.
It would just be a new limpet. That's all it is.
Amniotic
just wonder if
limpet.
We'll see. We'll see.
And yeah, I just I think it's very funny because I think we haven't had a lot of information from Azimuth Biotech for a hot second, and all of a sudden they're like, no, we're the people that you can trust again with all of these human lives. Has made me laugh somewhat extensively. There was a lot of talk that I've been sort of like dipping in and seeing what folk have been saying in remember when we did Operation Witch Hunt? Remember how long ago that was? But I've been dipping in and seeing what people have been saying, and the general consensus is a bad idea, funnily enough, in that particular group of people. But there's been an awful lot of talk about parallels and similarities between things sucking out people's brains and, all that good, gory stuff. But I'm definitely leaning more towards your sort of theories, Alec, about it being more rooted in human behaviors and prejudices.
And there's like a trigger for CGs more around the superpowers and stuff.
For sure. And despite the alien thing being so fantastical and sci-fi, there's definitely a trope to science fiction writing where it turns round and
it's the human
forces people to look. For sure. I really like it. The more I think about it, it's really good. Really good. I like that a lot. On the 6th of November, which was yesterday, President Zachary Hudson has announced a raft of legislation he intends to push during his last few months of office. It's kind of normal stuff, I guess. These are the kind of things I want to make sure that he's got in place before Felicia Winters can come in and just go, actually, no, we're not doing any of that. That's how Federation election. That's how elections work, isn't it? They set something in place, and then the next person comes in and goes, actually, we're not going to do that.
It sounds about right. I haven't read this one. I'm quickly reading.
Yeah, I'm trying to skim through it now.
I mean, I always get scared when they talk about funding think tanks. I mean, it seems a shame that in space future the think tanks are still on the go.
Funding will be granted for a political think tank. This will be a cross-party institute to gather ideas, strategies, and research that benefits the entire Federation. I don't like it. It's not fun. It's too real for me.
It's too real. The federal government will be getting significant tax rebates. They're getting tax rebates as well. And I'm like, no, hang on.
Why? No, not in my space game. Stop making it so real. I don't want it to happen.
Exactly. It's bad enough already.
Let me go and play different fantasy games where people do checks notes. Have personal traumas to do with families I'm bringing up wrong. No, it's too real. Everything's too real. Stop grounding things in realism for me. Yeah, so that happened.
Yeah.
So that was a thing. I think it's a quiet time of the week again.
Store alert!
So not much. I don't think we've got. I'm just having a look now, and I don't think the sugar skulls are even here yet, which is weird. And it's still all the Halloween stuff. Maybe that'll come in on Friday.
I mean, it is unusual, so in a way, it's a genuine store alert in that alert. There's no store alert.
Emergency warning. It's an emergency warning. Novelius is asking why an alert. Because I can.
And we like
Because
the
I have
song.
the
We
power
like
to
the
make
song.
Chris press a button, and we like the song.
Oh, not play the song. Wouldn't feel...
Jay and Trax and his wife worked hard on that.
It's in his contract. We have to play the song.
Exactly. That's we did. Oh my god.
The good stuff is that you can still buy your Halloween things. So if you forgot, or if you're still sitting there thinking, maybe I should buy the Halloween stuff, now's your chance before it all evaporates until another year.
Oh dear Lord.
I almost think they do the Halloween stuff like too late because
Agreed.
Because you end up wearing Halloween stuff about a week after Halloween.
Yeah.
Because you win stuff, you win stuff in all from Twitch drops and things, and then by the time Halloween's been and gone, you're like, right, I've got my Halloween stuff now. Oh, it's too late to wear it.
I think this is why Chris Mark 5 and I are both wearing Halloween and Christmas stuff.
Yeah, they've gone half and half. They've done a hybrid. So
I'm
they're
just
half
looking at the
Christmas,
stream.
half Halloween.
That is a strange costume.
Yeah.
Why are you the way that you are?
Hey, Chris was wearing his snowman head. I was like, you know what? That's a great idea.
He always has that snowman.
I saw that and I thought that is a great idea. So I'm wearing my luminescent bones Halloween thing with a Christmas jumper.
Wow.
And it looks amazing actually going around Mitra and Holland because it's like, normal, then
and then it goes,
and then it just goes like right, just the bones.
That is very cool. That is very cool with the different colours and the way the shinies are working for me something hard. It's very good.
I do like the shinies.
But I would normally expect the Sugar Skulls and stuff to be here by now because we've had the Day of the Dead. That should be a thing. If they're not coming this month, that's also a store, a big store. Red alert things aren't here that we're expecting, and we
Tune
don't
in
like
next week
change.
for another store alert in which the Sugar Skulls aren't here.
Maybe there'll be something new. Maybe there'll be something exciting for November, or maybe they'll already have their Christmas things out. That would be actually insane. Shall we have a very, 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 very quick advert and then jump into our main discussion?
Space is vast, and pirates have needs just like anyone else. Introducing the Lonely Pirate Handbook, the ultimate resource for lonely pirates. Our guide covers the hot spots and not spots of interstellar space, from smugglers' dens to space station taverns, with helpful chapters such as how to be presentable in polite society, how to get rid of that nefarious rank, and my favorite, occasionally shower. Are your early advances often mistaken for attempts to rob or plunder?
Oh, I've come a long way for what's in your hold. Prepare to be boarded.
Frameshift charge detected.
Oh.
Buy today and receive the Lonely Pirates Chat-Up Guide for free.
I've got a very large hard point. Would you like to see my very large hard point?
You're so hot. You're making my temperature critical.
Lower your shields. I want to inspect the goods.
Come back to my place. I might let you touch my A-rated anaconda.
Are you smuggling illegal goods? Because you've got fine written all over you.
The Lonely Pirates Handbook. Now available in all Anarchy bookstores. We'll teach you to loot anyone's heart.
I was overseeing the delivery of some slaves to the starport in Exios, and a cleaning robot had just washed the floor, but not left a warning sign. I had to run after a slave that was escaping, and I slipped and fractured my wrist. I was delayed for 10 whole minutes while the Medicomp repaired the damage. My time is billable. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was on a regular trading run back to Sol, and it was my job to repaint the outside of the ship. I was given the wrong kind of EVA clamps. Nothing bad actually happened, but it did give me a fright.
I was checking some robots through customs when I distinctly heard an official call the robots clanks. I was deeply offended, even though I'm not a robot myself. That's their word. You're not allowed to use it. Can I claim for moral outrage?
Yes, you can. At Cowell and McGrath, we are now taking any kind of legal action. No case too small, no justification too frivolous. If you've been lightly inconvenienced, embarrassed, or in any way put out, then someone should be made to give you money. Don't be a stupid clank.
Excuse me?
Cowell and McGrath, taking on any case, playing the percentages.
Hey Commanders, this is Mick from Crazy Mick's Reptile Emporium and Warehouse. Due to a hysterical ordering mishap and not reading the fine print, I'm currently in possession of over 10,000 snakes, many of which are deadly, so everything must go. We have anacondas, asps, cobras, dimebacks, fodlans, keelback, kraits, mambas, pythons, sidewinders and vipers, none of which are capable of spaceflight without being strapped to a rocket. Need a pet for your cockpit? Buy a snake. Need to scare your mother-in-law and give her a heart attack for the insurance money? Buy a snake. Need to fill a beluga full of snakes to assassinate a witness on their way to a Federation courthouse? Buy many snakes. Bulk discounts are available at Crazy Mick's Reptile Emporium and Warehouse. You can find us in the Lave Business Directory or visit us at the former site of Sensible Michael's Shipyard and Outfitting Warehouse. Will somebody get these mother snakes out of my mother warehouse?
So much like Crazy Mick, having made the mistake and the big oopsie of buying the wrong type of snake, did you like the segue that I'm going to point out now? Like a crazy person, it's good, wasn't it? So we did. We all make mistakes in Elite. We've all done silly things. And it was the question that I put out via our question of the week this week. If you don't know, in Discord and on Twitter every week, normally on the Sunday. Sometimes, if I'm feeling particularly nasty, it's on the Saturday, but it's definitely normally on the Sunday. We put out a question of the week asking for people's input. So come and join our Discord and answer that, or go and check out our Twitter, and they will always be on there each week, and then we read them out on the Tuesday. So I thought, given the time and given the fact that this has been a show, we could go ahead and read these and laugh at ourselves and everything else that happened and everyone else. Firstly, let's start by laughing at my sister. Katie Anna says she tried to land her ex Persephone on Persephone. Persephone, the moon planet orbital body, has some gravity, perhaps too much gravity. She was not paying attention, business as usual, so the meeting of Persephone's was intense and explodey. She has not been back since. It is quite a way out there. That's textbook.
Brilliant.
Is
brilliant.
explodey a technical term?
Yes.
I love the
100%.
sort of thought process of I'm going to land my ship Persephone on Persephone. It's just like, yeah.
You've got to do it. You've got to make the pilgrimage.
I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing to do. And talking about abusing people who aren't here, Colin says one phrase that everybody should be aware of, that everyone should be aware of: noob hammers. I, being Colin, had no rebuy when his Type 6 got smashed by them. Back to the Sidewinder he went.
There is a little tiny bit of a theme that we might see over and over again. The theme of no rebuy, which you'd think, given the fact that it is the first rule of Elite, that people might have cottoned on by. Well, I'm sure like these people have cottoned on by now. But you'd think we'd know, you'd think we'd learn, or we'd have a good idea of not doing that.
Here's a question. I want to see if this comes up. It's like, I should have known this, and I've done it again.
Or as a second,
I'm sure.
a double
Smashed by
oops.
noob hammers again, or something like that.
Oh, I imagine so.
Yeah,
I know I've definitely done mine.
Something where you have not learned from your mistakes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I do love the image, both literally and figuratively, of Colin's T6 getting smashed by a noob hammer back to the Sidewinder. It's very funny. I feel like there's almost a highway cartoon in that.
I can see that.
How do you miss them?
How do you miss them?
How do you miss the new power? Wait, just for clarification,
they are hard to miss. That's the problem.
Well, then how? Just for my clarification and my peace of mind, when we're talking about noob hammers, we're talking about the Corioluses with the massive sticks coming out of the side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the ones.
How do you miss them?
Well, okay. I would have said the opposite, that it's really quite hard to get hit by them, but
I think that's what Claire is getting at.
Yeah, because you see them. So how do you not know that? How do you not?
Don't know.
Colin,
I can only hypothesize here, but I suspect if you're that used to flying around a Coriolis and you're not paying as much attention as you should, you're maybe scooting round a bit too close to the hull, and then suddenly smack.
Ignorance.
I bet he was in the camera suite. Who bets he was in the camera suite going, look at
Not me, not a chance.
I can imagine, like, you would see them on the way in when you go to land, and then you load up with all your wares, and then you take off, and the planet, the system that you want to jump to is behind the station, and then you turn around and you just fly casually behind and forget that on the way in you saw these massive hammers spinning around ready to kill your ship.
Okay, so you're a goldfish as well with a very short memory. Excellent.
I have a tiny memory. A better memory. A better memory.
I have very much enjoyed this last 2 minutes of just roasting Colin. I've very much enjoyed it.
Next week we can find out exactly how he managed to do this.
For sure.
It's not being Colin's fault, but I wonder how the landing system copes with noob hammers.
The auto dock.
Oh, you mean like the auto
docking?
Probably better than Colin.
Anyway, we should leave Colin in peace and move on to Elvis Kremen. So Kremen says, during the Colonia initiative, I got a fine in the bubble before I flew the travel guides out. 10 hours flying to Jax, and right before the commander at the other end launched, I got scanned by security and blown up.
Oh, no.
Lost 400 tons of guides and was back in the bubble to repeat once more. Oof.
I remember being in a call with him when that happened.
It's actually, that I think it's changed, hasn't it? But if you didn't previously, if you got killed, you literally went back to the last station you left.
Yeah. But that was the idea. That was the idea with that colonial initiative. He would fly up with like a shit ton of these guides, hand them off to another commander so he wouldn't land, and then after handing off these guides, he would then like explode and then go back.
I see.
But
But he got
didn't have
scanned
the opportunity.
before the handover.
Yeah, I remember vividly, and this was around the time when I started playing Elite. I remember vividly being told about this.
Littering is punishable by death.
I remember. I also remember the many uses of very, very flowery language that my ears were assaulted with when that happened, because he was not happy. He was not a happy bunny. Was Mr. Kremen over there?
Oh dear, I can't imagine Kremen swearing. He's so polite. Commander Greybeard Seawolf has sent this one in. Shortly after Odyssey released, I engineered my Maverick with improved jump assist. After looting a settlement, I recalled my ship and tried to beat it to the landing pad. I realised afterwards how important timing is, as I was crushed by the DBX's landing gear. What a way to go.
Oh my gosh.
That's really funny, actually, because I keep throwing around this idea in my head of making a video like 100 ways to die in Elite, and I keep trying to think of interesting ways to die. Literally about 2 days ago, I was thinking, I wonder if you can get your ship to land on you when you're on foot. Turns out you can.
Amazing.
We talk about things missing you, though. It's like, how on earth do you get the landing gear to hit you?
I didn't. I genuinely didn't know that that was something that could happen. Because I thought if you're driving to it and you drive underneath, I'm sure if I've driven underneath my ship before as it's landing, it goes absolutely not and then
I've had
zooms off,
both.
doesn't
I know
it?
what you mean. There's a thing where you can spook it and it buggers off because I've had that in numerous buckyball races and it's
Yeah,
incredibly
that
annoying.
that was only my knowledge was like fuck.
Yeah, but I have also had my ship pretty much land on my. You know the thing the Imperial Courier, I guess a few other ships do as well, where they land and then they raise their gear. They kind of raise up
Mm-hmm.
to make room for the SRV. And I had one just last week. It might even have been during the buckyball race, actually. No, why would I be in an SRV? That doesn't make sense. Where the courier basically landed on my SRV, and then extended its gear to make room for me.
Oh dear.
So yeah, I can buy this. Sure.
I wonder if it's to do with how rude you are to the ship's AI. If you keep swearing at the ship's AI when you're trying to get to places, it'll be like, see, the next time you're under there, you're going under a landing gear.
Yeah, if you use the secret flip it the bird emoji to get it to land.
Speaking of like secret things, this update, I don't know, this is a complete tangent. This update had an Easter egg from Darren put in it. I don't know if anyone's found it yet.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, he put something on Twitter about that one being the last one with the last update that he'd put like an Easter egg in because he was leaving the team.
Do you know what it is? You
No,
just
not a
keep-
clue.
no,
Oh, not a clue. Not a clue. If I knew, I would be telling everybody. I do not keep Darren's secrets.
Does that mean we should be emoting at everything then, just in case it has a
maybe.
reaction?
Maybe, because that was the way we found out about clapping to turn the lights on our ship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If it's not an exploding locker, I'm going to be disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, there's one locker in the galaxy that's
rigged to blow.
You clap at it, and it's going to explode like tinsel at you or something.
And the Hutton truckers are going to start a mission to find it.
Oh God. Okay, we have Shadow the Seer went to Sagittarius A and back in an unengineered Dolphin and no AFMU. Somehow made it back with some major malfunctioning happening for the last 4 jumps. Did pay for their first Corvette though. So their oopsie was not taking an AFMU. Which, you know.
Yeah, if you, I don't know if they're a neutron jumping or not, but yeah, it can be a problem.
It can definitely be a problem for sure. It can be frustrating as hell.
Right. So the commander whose name I can't pronounce,
Nepilius!
He decided to visit Sagittarius A star for the first time and didn't think much about the ship to do it with. The ship happened to be an A-rated Vulture.
Oh.
After 1,000 volts, after 1,000 jumps, you begin to question the usefulness of those 2 big lasers and lament the fact that you can't eject them.
Whoa.
What? Yeah. Wow.
Like I know Nepilius has been in chat. Did you turn around, mate? Did you make it? 17 light year jump range. Ooh, and they made it. Holy butts.
Do you know what? I bet there's been a few of those of people deciding to set off having no concept that, 15, 20 light years is not a good jump range if you're trying to go to Beagle Point or something.
Yeah, I know my first engineering, or my first trip to Colonia pre-engineering days was in a 16 light year Anaconda, which I knew at the time could have been upgraded to be, well, whose components could have been modified to be better, but I didn't bother. And that was painful. So yeah, 17 light years to Sag A star is oofy.
Oofy.
Yeah. Funny.
Crikey.
Cal Photo AZ, I want to say. during meta bombing. Oh, that was the thing where you dump meta
Yeah,
alloys
yeah,
on
yeah.
stations, and during meta bombing, thought I could solo 3 excellent ganker PvPers to defend the home station in 33368. I did not succeed. Multiple rebuy screens. They took the time to tell me what I did wrong and even teach me how to fly like them, though. That's good. I have heard this about these dirty scumbags.
Dirty, rough, filthy gankings. Filthy gankings to help you out.
To teach you afterwards, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, now I fucked you. Let me tell you how I did it and how you can you can get out of that in the future. Oh dear.
Good job though, trying to defend stations. Bravo.
Good stuff.
We salute you, sir.
Chris?
Oh, sorry. Is it me?
It is you.
Yeah, it is me. Ken Dobson. Early in my Elite Dangerous gameplay, I bought a T10, outfitted it, and then flew without enough credits for the insurance rebuy. Lesson learned.
Nobody's done that. Nobody's ever done that.
Nobody's ever done
It's like the first rule of Elite. No one would ever do anything like that. Oh dear. Oh very dear. First mistake was buying a T10. Commander Andrew Johnson says going to Rackham's Peak and getting shot by system by the station security because of a careless discharge of a weapon. Ended up back in the bubble with a fleet carrier stuck at the peak with loads of trit in the hold but none in the tank.
Oh.
How do you fix that?
Oh, that's a good one.
I suppose you'd have to go back on somebody else's fleet carrier. Do you know what I mean? You'd have to.
Yeah.
You'd have to catch a lift on someone else's fleet carrier to get there. But then your fleet carrier is taking up precious space in Rackham's Peak. Oh no!
Wait, you mean to say that you can't refuel a fleet carrier from all the tritium in your hold?
You can't do it remotely. Like
My
no.
God, that's absolutely shocking.
You'd need to have staff in order to do that. You'd need to see people walking around on your fleet carrier who you might be able to disperse to do that exact thing.
Refuel our ship.
The quartermaster sitting there going, well, without the captain's signature, I'm not allowed to move it into the engine, all right? Them's the rules.
Plus, it would take a hose. I mean, and as we've heard from Darren and Tom, it's harder than you think.
I mean, it can't be that difficult. Everybody drink. Like as Apathis says, have someone just fly to it, then you sell it, and then they can refuel it for you. That would also work.
Yeah,
send the fuel out. Their job in it.
Yeah, send Tritium fairies to do it. It's their job in it.
So Silas Ressi is saying they submitting to a scan in Horizons, totally not realizing that. Do they mean Horizons?
I guess so.
Submitting to a scan in Horizons, totally not realizing that a cloned profile will get you shot in the face. Lost a Cobra Mark IV, loads of mugs, gin. Alvin were not pleased.
Oh no!
Don't upset Alvin.
Oh,
yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You can't upset Alvin.
You
Alvin's
can't.
lovely.
Yeah. Maweeble, great name, says, during my first return trip from Colonia in a slightly engineered Python, I had to step away from the pilot's chair briefly, which extended into longer quotes. When I finally returned, I was faced with the rebuy screen. I had left my ship at 0 throttle, or 30 kilometers per second in Super Cruise.
So what happened?
Pointing at what?
Pointing at what? A star?
It must have been, and then just very, very slowly heated up, like maybe in a red dwarf or something like that.
Yeah, but then they'd go to a star and then they'd come out and
but maybe,
go into...
maybe it just got hotter and hotter and hotter in normal space.
Does that happen?
I don't know. I don't normally...
Yeah. I don't know.
It's possible.
I remember a story from way back, like first year of Elite. I wish I could remember it in detail. It's on the forums or somewhere where a guy had a similar thing. He had to step away from his screen for a bit, and he left the game running. Yeah, And when he came back, he he was back in a stock Sidewinder. I can't remember.
No.
And he asked his girlfriend what had happened, and she said, well, she was walking past the computer and saw this big orange thing rushing towards the screen.
Shit. Yeah.
And then it went bang, and then there was some kind of question about whether he wanted to be in a ship or not. So she chose the option that put him in the
No. Did she remain his partner?
Yeah, like, you don't break up with someone because they fucked you in an Elite Dangerous game.
I could see some people seriously raging about it.
Yeah, but rage doesn't. That I would argue that person is incredibly fragile if that is the thing.
Oh yeah.
That is the straw that broke the camel's back. There was many other things, the several affairs and everything else. However, when you sold my ship...
Yeah, that was the last straw.
Exciting, I was fine with it. You sold my ship.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Right, this one's me. Having learned the don't fly without rebuy rule, you know, I'd learned it, I understood it, I knew what it was. I decided to break it.
It's the most important rule.
I just decided to break it just once because I was trading my way up to a T9. I'd set my sights on a goal, right? I was like, I'm a really good trader. What the really good traders have, they have a T9. So I was like, I'm going to work my way up and work my way up and work my way up. And I did the maths and I was like, if I sell my current ship and, you know, if I fill it full of gold and I sell this and I sell this and sell this and I fill it full of all this stuff and then I go and I make this one sale, I'll have enough to buy my T9. So I was like, I'll load up all my stuff, all my belongings, all my jewellery, all my things, get into my ship and do this one last cargo run. And then I got attacked on my route and exploded. It did not end well. Yeah. Don't fly without rebuy.
Was that straight back to the sidey?
It was pretty much.
It's the main goal. It's the main rule of Elite.
Black number 9.
It's the main rule of Elite. You absolute spoon. It's the main rule. Why are we doing this to
ourselves? It was just once. It was just one fly. I knew the rule.
You knew the rule.
I know the way it works. And I was like, just this once. It's just like from here to there. And it will all be fine.
Holy shit. I love you so much, you absolute nonsense human. Jesus Christ. Ian Knuff says early doors of Space Legs. So while doing a restore mission, they nearly knocked their coffee on the floor, grabbed the cup to save it, hit the mouse in the process, causing my commander to aim up at the ceiling and throw a grenade, which landed at my feet, killing me. This was the best idea for a question.
That's the funniest one yet.
Oh, I love that.
That is genius.
Ben.
So, Captain Claw did a little murdering. Landed at a space station to pay my crimes, thinking, I'll be fined, and end up in a space station. Left in a bad mood without a fuel scoop, and quickly realised how remote it was. Ended up stranded without fuel. Fuel scoops on ships always. Now
they can be a little far away.
Yeah. I just want to remind Captain Claw, there is a lovely group of people by the name of the Fuel Rats. If you ever end up in prison without a fuel scoop.
Yeah, they will help.
Yeah,
they will help.
But, even prisoners.
But fit a fuel scoop. Give them less work.
That is funny. That's a nice little surprise the game can throw at you, though, isn't it? When you go to prison and you just think, oh yeah, and then you suddenly look at the galaxy map and go, oh shit, where am I?
Just 7 jumps away, and I'm in my Eagle, which doesn't have a jump range because I chose a small ship so I could land near the plant, near the people I'm supposed to be killing.
Yeah. Another word of advice: if you're in that situation, actually, you can use Apex Interstellar if you want to pay them for it. And they will take you.
They ain't getting my hard-earned murder money.
Yeah, but if it's between getting a taxi or flying an Eagle that's going to make it, I might subject myself to being in an adder.
I'm sure if Colin was here, he would choose death instead of the adder.
I'm guessing there aren't space prisons literally littered throughout the galaxy. There must be some places where you are in for a seriously long journey back to where you were. No?
Accidentally end up in Colonia space prison.
I suppose
We've
that's
actually
how
got
else
a
you
message
use.
from Terakov. And yeah, if you get deported in Rubigo, you'll be sent to a prison ship in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Oh, really?
And the rats have rescued many people from that situation.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is it me?
It is you.
It is me. Polytropus. Using a free Epic account I got a while back, I was getting a ship ready to help on the landscape expedition. And after several hours of exciting gameplay, gathering mats and cash, I saw the warning I was using 3.8, which was no longer being updated. Not my best moment.
Oops.
Yeah, of course, because none of that translated across after, presumably after the split, right?
Oh God. Yeah, so anything you do doesn't take effect. Oof.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that, and I keep thinking, I might jump into Horizons and do something, and then I suddenly think, oh God, maybe not.
Oh, you think you're doing really, really great, and suddenly it's going nowhere. No. Got this one from Happy Moon Monkey. Got my first Corvette. A-rated it, but no engineering, and thought it was going to be good in combat. I had enough money for rebuys, but at 35 million a rebuy, it started getting really expensive really quickly. I parked it back at the starport for a while until I'd engineered it some more.
Seems fair.
Wow.
I like that. It's true. It's like, yeah, don't fly without rebuy, and then you go, how expensive is this thing?
Incredible. We have Little Big Yin. He seems like a really nice guy, and that I would really like to know him. Yeah, I feel like I would really like to get to know that person. He sounds like someone I could be married to for about 12 years. I reckon we can manage that. The biggest in-game mistake would easily be when he bought a ship super early on, in that the rebuy world. In that the rebuy would make me more broke than Joe Exotic. Yes, I probably got destroyed by an NPC or something, so had to go back to a much cheaper ship and start earning cash money. I bought a Vulture pre-engineering, spent a fortune on it, and hated every minute of flying it. So sold it and went back to the Viper and was much happier. It really put him off the Vulture forever.
I like the Vulture. I mean, the Vulture's no chieftain, but I liked it.
It's been a long time since I've flown mine, but
yeah.
It's that jump range again.
So this isn't really a mistake. I was trying to think of funny little stories like this, and I can't think of anything as epically catastrophic as this, because most of the mistakes I make are my own damn fault, and it's usually because it's like, oh yeah, I'll just I'll keep flying and just get one more ship, or I need a little bit more fuel. Yeah, one more time around the sun. Who cares if my ship's at 200% heat? It's fine. So yeah, just get out when you can.
Knowing when to quit. It's a big thing. It's a big thing in Elite. Knowing when to quit. Knowing when to bail on a CZ. Knowing when to bail on a
Yeah, and it's that is something that I am guilty of. It's like, oh, my ship's got 10% hull. It'll be fine.
Mentioning no names, Chris, but knowing when to make 2 trips in the T10 rather than 1 big one.
Yeah, two little trips instead of just loading all your valuables into one might be a wise.
Being fair to Chris, and I wish I could turn this into a story of failure, but I had an absolutely epic trip when I just got a T9, and I filled myself up, and I didn't have enough money for a rebuy, and my God, that was a scary journey, but I made it, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that, actually. I wish I was trying to think of something, a simple mistake that we could learn from, but I only just I forgot to do this, and I was just doing it now, and I couldn't come up with one. So I've got a couple of story ones instead, which I've told before on a very excellent podcast that.
Flight assist. Did you go to flight assist?
I do. Yes, flight assist.
Is that what I actually mean? Do I mean flight assist right now?
That's what I mean. Anyway, so my two little stories of mistakes were the first one was where I spent quite a lot of time trying to get a ship launch fighter inside a Thargoid base, which I managed to do by wedging the door open by leaving a probe lying on the floor next to it. Flew around the base and then managed to somehow dislodge it as I was about to fly out. So that the door to the base spiraled shut on me as they do. Leaving me inside a Thargoid base in a ship launch fighter. Now, and there was this sort of sudden dawning realization of I can't get out. I literally can't get out, because if you're in an SRV, you'd just go down to the lower chamber and you'd pick yourself up a link, and you'd drive back, and the door would open, and you'd be out. But in a ship launch fighter, you're truly fucked, which was pretty funny. And the other one I was going to mention was. We were doing a race. It was a buckyball race where it was like a team race, and you could get somebody to refuel you. So there were, I don't know, you couldn't have a fuel scoop or something. So you either had to detour off to a station or get somebody to meet you and refuel you halfway. And I was doing this on a Frontier live stream with Ed Lewis, and I was his refueler. And I hadn't really spent much time experimenting with it, but I just thought I'll just throw as many refuel limpets as I can onto this thing so I can refuel him insanely quickly. So my ship was all like fuel tank and limpets basically, and it worked nicely. And I hooked up with Ed Lewis on the live stream, and you can hear on his live stream, you can hear like what's the little limpet message about fuel limpet engaged, fuel limpet engaged, fuel limpet engaged, fuel limpet engaged, and it was great. And he got refueled, and off he went to the second half of the race. And then I realized I had literally given him all my fuel.
Oh my gosh.
And it was kind of a race it was a sort of fuel rats themed race. And the irony was I had to call the fuel rats because I gave him literally all my fuel.
Well, you accomplished the theme, though.
I did. I mean, I think I illustrated it very well.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one as well, because I've done a lot of stupid shit in Elite. I'm not allergic to it by any stretch of the imagination. But the one that always sticks in my mind is I was having a poodle around about 1,500 light years out. In an anaconda, which I barely fly an anaconda, but this was a paper thin anaconda, I should clarify. A bit like my holistic shield, Micah, my phantom that shouldn't exist. A very similar sort of build to that, like the most jump range I can get out of it. It's also funnily enough, it's also named after the D&D character that Micah is the Beastmaster of. So it's Micah's pet is the name of this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's completely irrelevant to the story. But somebody in chat said, "Oh, you should go and visit this planet because it's got my name on it, and it's a really cool planet because it's got a small planet, but it's got a massive ring." And you know what? Those words made me want to go and visit this planet. So off I go, pootling away. And as I'm coming down to land on this planet, it did have a massive ring. The ring was entirely impressive. But as I'm about to land, I'm coming down quite quickly, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a lot quicker than I was expecting it to be." And the last words I say before the anaconda hits the surface of the planet, "What's the gravity of this planet?" The gravity was like 3 point something, and I looked at the rebuy screen and lost all of my data. Oh, no. And I cannot remember who it was in chat, but they were mortified, and I thought it was hilarious.
You forget to check those numbers in the corner of the screen, don't you? The gravity numbers. Yeah. The amount of
Yeah.
times that I've been approaching a planet and going, "This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Why am I still going down? Why am I still going down?"
It's like 95% of planets are 0.3 or something, and it's just not an issue, is it?
Yeah, you do more damage to the planet landing than it does to you, so it's fine. It's the other ones that you've got to look out for.
We did have a couple. We did have a couple from chat as well. As we were going, these are the ones that we wrote down. But we did have a couple from chat, which we can go through very quickly because I'm very aware of the time. But we had Mark Gamer, who says, breaking news, Sad Commander assumes fetal position when remembering the email distraction that cost them nearly 1 billion credits of exobio data. Gliding in to scan some bacterium information, email comes in, reads the email, looks up to see gravity and stupidity have its way with this ship, wakes up on carrier with a new paint job. So there's a silver lining. Someone want to take the next one if you can see them?
Where are these?
So Dark Harris is saying, I started when low temperature diamond was the meta, and I bought a Python without keeping enough money for a rebuy. Heard this story before, haven't we?
You'd think we'd have learned.
I didn't make it one trip before I was helped by another commander back to my adder. Oh no!
Oh, and it was an adder as well. Oh dear.
Yeah. Someone would enjoy that.
SD48. I don't always miss a station, but when I do, it's Hutton.
That's it. What was the one recently where I was like, oh, it's going to take me ages, and I went out and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll take a break. And then Artie wanted to go out, so the break was extended. And by the time I got back to my desk, I was as far away from the system again, or from the station again, and I was like, shit.
It is funny the number of people that have fallen. Times I've heard stories of people falling asleep on the way to Hutton and ending as far the other side of Hutton as they.
They end up being halfway to Sol if they fell asleep.
So Renfield 1897 says, biggest mistake is obviously listening to a podcast live that is about a dead game while playing a dead game and enjoying it.
What a silly thing to do.
Bravo.
What a silly thing to do. You'd think we'd have learned our lesson by now. What, we episode 465? You'd think we'd have got over it. And
are we going to stop? Hell no.
No, we're not. No, it depends. Commander Terekoff says on their first Palin 5K light year run, they flew out scanning all the way, realized they were flying tired and decided to park up on a planet for the night. They failed to notice the planet was high G. It did not end well. No. The next morning, they realized they'd just been 2 jumps short of the 5K required.
Oh no. Oh. On the other hand, don't drive when tired, so...
Or play the video game and reap the consequences.
Yeah.
Throw caution to the wind. Fuck around and find out. This has been how commanders have fucked around and found out. Crikey. This has been really fun. We might bring this up again at some point because that was really fun. I've enjoyed laughing at that. That's very cool. Right. Okay, cool. Any other business? Does anybody else have any other business before I've got my thing?
Do your thing.
Okay. Chris Mott 4 is on he does a radio show on a Sunday at 12 UK time. You can listen to it by going to blackdiamond.com/listen live. Also, the Golden Joysticks, which is the first of many award shows for games. Award season is starting, gang, and I'm very excited. Golden Joysticks is on this Friday at 4 p.m. My community, everyone is welcome and is welcome to come and join. In my Discord, we're having a watch party and crossing everything for the game of the year to be the game of the year. And there's also a form that we're doing, which is a bit of fun for predictions. Like we do with the Oscars, like we're probably going to do with all of the other Game Awards this season as well, and run a tally at the end of it because it's nonsense and fun. So yeah, if you want to come along to that, it's gonna be fun, and I'm really looking forward to award season starting, which is great. So let's hop over to the shout outs, unless anybody else has anything that they want to add.
I feel deeply offended that Elite Dangerous is not in the Still Playing award.
Well, No Man's Sky is though. Oh, dear. Yikes. Okay. So on to our shout-outs. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, broadcasts on Thursdays from 8:30 p.m. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or for just the audio at radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander who likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We are also giving shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts who have appeared over the last year or are standard regular contributors. That is the Guard Frequency, who do other space games, and also our friends across the pond, Loose Screws. Following this, do we have a Galnet News Digest?
We do have a Galnet News Digest.
Fantastic. So following this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest as provided by Commander Wotherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. Thank you so much to those who have chipped in on Twitch chat and our in-game commanders. Who have we seen?
We've had Ak Yaza de Lapper. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I definitely am. We've had Virgil Sprada, Andy Sharp 42, and Siberius.
Incredible. Special thanks to Commander Takoso, Jay and Trax, and Alan Stroud, who created the music used on the show. That's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you would like to get in touch with the show, then you can find contact links in the home/contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 p.m. and streamed out on laveradio.com/live. Thank you to Colin. You're welcome, Claire. Thank you to Alec.
You're welcome, Claire.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, fuck you, Claire.
Hey!
You're welcome, Claire.
Can I ask that the next time this happens, I have more than a minute's notice? That would be really great. and special thanks to one of my favourite humans on the planet, the Chris Mark IV.
You're welcome, Claire.
That's my name. Don't wear it out. Until next time, commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted into them. You need a safe word.
Space can be lonely. I'm going to see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 7th of November 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Hudson tries to make things tricky for his successor. The Thargoids round Tyrannus are targeted. And we wonder if it might have been a good idea to quarantine after the elimination of the Grey Swan fleet.
President Hudson is making the most of his last few months in office to cause trouble for the incoming administration. It is traditional that an outgoing president will not table new legislation during the transitional period, but will instead work to facilitate a smooth transition of power. Hudson doesn't seem to think much of that tradition, and he has announced 4 new bills that he hopes will make it to the statute books before President-elect Winters takes up office in the new year. Hudson has put forward legislation to give controversial Homeland Spy Agency, the Proactive Detection Bureau, access to military-grade technology provided by the Federal Navy that will allow even the most secure encrypted messages between federal citizens and corporations to be read by the government. He has also put forward legislation to keep massive tax breaks for corporations such as Core Dynamics that commit to doing business only with the federal government. He is creating a political think tank to be chaired by his outgoing Secretary of State, Lana Berkovich, to advise the government. And he will establish a media standards agency, chaired by Sol Today's Neve McFarlane, that will regulate the way federal media is allowed to present stories about the Federation. Most of this will be anathema to President-elect Winters. She was elected on the promise that she would disband the PDB domestic spy agency completely. The tax breaks to corporations are unlikely to be sustainable, and it will be Winters who loses the support of those corporations when she's forced to reimpose taxes. With Lana Berkovich in charge, the political think tank is likely to deliver reports with a Republican bias. And with Sol Today's CEO put in charge of press standards, federal news outlets are likely to be forced into peddling Republican propaganda. Winters can, of course, dismantle Hudson's malevolent legacy when she gets into office, but she'd far prefer to be delivering a bold new strategy for the Federation's people than spending time undoing Hudson's handiwork.
After initial success in shutting down a swathe of Thargoid spire sites, making further progress seems to be getting harder. Significant effort is being put into just a few of the sites this week, with Trianguli Sector BA-A D85 and Hyades Sector DQ-O B6-0 the main targets. Everyone is welcome to take part. In a wing, shooting Orthrus and Scouts is relatively straightforward if you have caustic sink launchers and some decent anti-Xeno multi-cannon. It's better to shoot Orthrus as they arrive back from patrol for refueling. If you attack the Orthrus that have just launched, they're much more likely to use a shutdown field that will also damage any Guardian weapons and other modules. Operation Deleted, an initiative proposed in part by Commander Alex Zuno, aims to wipe out all Thargoid systems around the Tyrannus Maelstrom, leaving it exposed and vulnerable. The initiative is making slow but steady progress. The shutdown spire sites are worth visiting as a means of familiarising yourself with the environment in safety. There are a small number of the items Professor Palin wants to conduct research on, and both the mega barnacles and the coral trees can be scanned using the Dyson scanner. At present, Vista Genomics is paying out a first discovered bonus to everyone who scans these specimens, but this generosity is unlikely to last. Meanwhile, there's been a largely negative reaction to Azimuth Biotech's demand to be able to interrogate those who've been rescued from Thargoid abduction. It seems likely that the first returnees will soon be released back into society, but Azimuth is suspicious they may be Trojans, bringing back a virus or perhaps programmed to kill on a word of command. But Azimuth's track record of inhumanity in its experimentation and of misjudgment in its initiatives make it one of the least well-trusted organisations in the galaxy. Commander Andy Pipkin of the Children of Raxxla took issue with Azimuth's demand that those rescued from the Thargoids should not be treated like normal people, arguing that the need to keep them in isolation and under medical supervision to ensure their and everyone else's safety does not mean that they do not have rights or that they should not be treated with humanity. Commander Alswolf has his own theory that the Thargoids might be preparing the human captives to fight against human ships as drones, similar to the Thargon swarms. But as yet, there's still no clear picture of what the Thargoids plan to do with so many captured humans.
A week ago, the slaughter of the Grey Swan fleet concluded. Infected by an unexplained audio virus, Shamash Future pilots who took part in Operation Grey Swan lost control of their sensors and started attacking civilian ships. Shamash Future called on the Santu State Network to assist in wiping out its own navy, and many independent commanders participated in the bloodbath, during which every single pilot who took part in Operation Grey Swan was ruthlessly put to death. It seems at least possible that the infection has been eliminated for now, but it has struck once before, when the passengers and crew of the 1,000-year-old Thetis generation ship were driven to kill each other. The source of the infection is still out there. It may be too dangerous to investigate it, but unless the Shamash system is evacuated and permit locked, the risk remains that the auditory virus may strike again. There is no proof that those involved in eliminating the Grey Swan fleet were not themselves infected. Commander Arghouse has suggested that it would be prudent for all those taking part to observe a period of voluntary quarantine. We are sure that all civic-minded commanders will have elected to do so without prompting.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.